Hey, look at the drip, bro. What's up? That's a reference to a person that none of y'all know if you're over age 20. We on here. We doing it. Y'all about to get spooked, get scared. Gonna be running scared because we're about to go through a bunch of creepy videos with your boy right here. Now, I got, some interesting takes on this topic because I've gone through a few phases. I think a lot of people that get into the red pill conspiracy content, I don't mean the do you got Bugatti? Not that red pill. The older red pill. When you first start looking into these topics, you kind of believe everything. You know what I mean? Like you go through phases and then you realize, oh, the alien cryptid Sasquatch thing, that's all a bunch of jibber jabber nonsense. And a lot of it is. But now I've kind of gone back on thinking that it's all nonsense. Not Bigfoot, that's retarded. But a lot of the cryptid stuff, ghost stuff, I think maybe we're starting to see manifestations of weird things. And my theory on this is this, which is if we wanted to demonstrate or prove this kind of stuff, one thing we would need is a situation that's never been before, which is cameras everywhere. Not just people having cameras on their phones, but security cameras. And guess what? There are security cameras in everybody's house and outside everybody's house now. And that pervial AI is spying on everything. The AI is watching, spying. So my thought is, well, if there are these phenomena that can then be proven, now would be the time to prove it because of cameras everywhere. Now, of course, you can never overcome all of the possibilities in every case of it being fake and gray, sure. But even if 10% of all of the clips are authentic and not fake, that's still pretty substantial. So my thought is, if you look at books like Soul After Death, which is a really good book, I read that many, many years ago. He talks about that, the soul does linger on after death, hence why we do pray for the dead. So we don't necessarily have to think that there's no differentiation of time between the death and people passing on and what we experience in this life. So in other words, maybe time goes different or is at a different speed, you know what I mean, in the next dimension, in the spiritual realm, the noetic realm. So maybe what seems to take a long time in the spiritual world doesn't take that long in this world or something, right? Maybe 2 weeks is like 200 years in the spiritual world. Who knows? And I'm speculating on that just because I had a dream the other night where it was like a Hunger Games meet Squid Game scenario. And I was in this, it was like a video game level. And everybody was stuck in this video game level. It's actually a pretty good story. I might write it into a short story. I mean, it's not just like Hunger Games and Squid Game. It's different from that, but that's just what I could liken it to. And anyway, long story, it was a weird cult inside of a controlled experimental environment type of thing. And when I came out of this dream, I swear it was the most vivid movie sequence dream I've ever had. It had characters, character development, beginning, middle, end. It was just crazy. And I promise you that my dream was as if I had been in this Squid Game, Hunger Games scenario for an entire season's worth of a TV show. I mean, it was like a whole thing. But dreams don't last that long. So what the heck was going on? I don't know. I don't know how the dream world works. But time seems to be different. You know what I mean? Time seems to run different in the dream world. So maybe one reason why we could say, I think Father Seraphim Rose says, there's a tradition in Orthodoxy that the soul stays around for a couple weeks before it moves on or something like that. But maybe in ghost time, you know what I'm saying? A couple weeks is like 200 years, dude. What? Oh, yeah. You're going to go to the higher dimensions when the angel bus arrives. You just passed on. Sorry to mention it too, but you're going to have to wait around in this janky old dilapidated apartment for the next 200 years. And then the angel bus arrives. What? Oh, shit. I got to sit here in this janky ass old stank ass apartment for 200 years before the angel bus takes me to the next sphere. Yup. Dang. See? That's why you seeing a bunch of ghosts popping up. And they all decked out in Victorian and Edwardian robes and muumuus and nighttime nighties. I'm just joking, but I'm not. Anyway, I'm not being serious that it's like 200 years. I'm just speculating. So today's show is a speculation show. Shout out for those super chats coming in already. Thank you guys so much. And yes, somebody said, you need to talk about Bizarre Bub. Yeah, Bizarre Bub's probably the best at picking ghost videos. I'll say that. Everybody has their own little niche that they do. If you want to send super chats, you can do so right there. We're going to have fun today. We're going to go through some of the good ones, the goofy ones, the bad ones. A couple more books I'll mention. Back when you first kind of get into the red pill conspiracy stuff, you go through these phases. A lot of people who are waking up now, they're immediately jumping into ancient aliens, dude. Space gays from another planet. Gay space lords coming to do butt stuff. Cutting up cattle, dude. No. So they haven't progressed beyond the masses of bull hunky that exists in this domain. So they got to learn the hard way, go through all the bull crap. But one book I read from the esoteric schools that was kind of interesting was this book called Interdimensional Universe. I read this back in 2008. I got my name in there still. 2008. Look at that. And this is kind of like an esoteric guy's perspective on what's going on with the phenomena. It seems to be entities and things that can pop in and out of existence that we don't really understand the physics of. Therefore, it's a higher level physics that pertains to other dimensions. That's kind of his theory. Very possible. I don't agree with all the esoteric stuff. I remember many, many years. This is all popular now, too. I'm not sure why this is super popular now. There's a TV show. But let's see when I read this, because I always date my books. I read this in 2006. The Hunt for the Skinwalker. Dog Man, dude. Dog Man at LBL, bro. Now, I don't... In Tennessee, everybody knows what LBL is. Land Between the Lakes. And I've never personally experienced anything weird at LBL. I've camped there a few times. We used to go and drink beer and party in LBL when we were teenagers. But now there's this whole thing on the internet of LBL has its own cryptid thing. I'm like, what? How does LBL now have its own giant cryptid community? So people are going nuts over this stuff. You drive around the country, which Jamie and I have driven coast to coast multiple times in the last 5 or 6 years. There's Bigfoot crap everywhere, dude. And obviously, part of it is just like a cheap carnival barker level money making thing. Bigfoot crap everywhere. Come on, dude. But now people want to go out to this Utah Mormon ranch. Maybe crazy stuff's happening because it's a Mormon ranch. I don't know, but I made a bunch of notes when I read this back in the day because they would talk about stuff like, oh, we have an ancient Masonic lodge on the Skinwalker Ranch, and my notes are like, even back then, I'm like, this is a bunch of devilry. It's a bunch of dark arts. Right? I read this whole thing, and I'm like, this is a bunch of devilry and dark arts. And There's references to John Keel. And even this book talks about the possibility of it being higher dimensional physics, right? I'm not saying this is like you need to go read this book. I don't know who these people are. Calm Keeler. I'm just saying, I did all of this. This is a phase. Like a teenager going through a phase. He going through a phase right now where he think he got space powers. He going through a phase right now where he think he a dog. He going through a phase right now where he identify as Professor X, and so he just rolling around that cute little wheelchair, even though he ain't got nothing wrong with him. He going through a phase. And then one thing that was really interesting about this Goofy book, I read a bunch of these books back in the day. I never got really into UFO stuff. I mean, I read a bunch of books, and I was like, this is a bunch of nonsense, bro. It's a bunch of psyops. And then this guy told a story. Ooh, the mysterious valley, bro. And then I got to one page where he's talking about, oh, by the way, it was all funded by Lawrence Rockefeller. And I'm like, get me the frick out of here, dude. What a waste of time. David and Lawrence Rockefeller funding all of this. Wonder why. And I read this one too. Stargate. You ever heard about Project Stargate, dude? The military gonna open up a portal and they're gonna bring through a bunch of goobers. Oh, yeah, dude. Oh. Yeah, all this stuff is goofball. But you go through a phase and you kind of grow out of it. But now I'm starting to think, okay, I grew out of a lot of this nonsense. However, there does seem to be a lot of weird stuff going on. So I never completely denied the supernatural. Hey, how's your Hank Hill? Also, that's a nice shirt. Well, thank you, Tim. See? Bro, you talking about a professional over here. I mean, unless you throwing me chicks, I can do it. Pretty much. Right? People are like, do Tom Cruise. He doesn't have a distinctive voice. That's the only thing I can do from Tom Cruise. But you throw me a Hank Hill, thank you, Tim. Well, thank you, Tim. That's an easy one, bro. Yeah, so... And what's interesting is that a lot of these books that discuss Stanford research, changing images of man, and their connected projects of Stargate, which there is a real SRI studying the occult, studying mind powers. Uri Geller going after all them cutlery and silverwares, right? Israeli Defense Force. Uri Geller declared a war on the silverware. He was bending spoons left and right. Ba 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 ba. You can't invite him to a meal. You invite him to a meal, bloop. They're all going limp. Everybody's forks, spoons, immediately going limp. You can't eat around this man. The other thing that pops up is Freemasonry. So to me, that suggests networks of deception. That's it. Now, do we actually know how far they've researched this stuff? Who knows? In order to get advanced technology. Because I think a lot of this stuff is advanced drone technology. For example, there's videos going around right now of a bunch of stuff happening in Romania and Iran. And they're shooting at what I think is just target practice. People are like, UFO, dude, they're shooting down aliens, it's a battle. It's not an alien battle, dummy. It's just target practice. What are you talking about? So much stupid shit. So let's get into some of the hype videos this week. There's scary things. There's glitches in the Matrix from our friend James LaFleur. Creepy. Now, I messaged James. I tried to get him to do an interview, but he wouldn't do it. So he's like, I don't do interviews. All right, well, we're going to talk about your videos. He's a nice guy. I'm not dissing him. Not this. This is a bunch of alien bullshit. So let's see. Now, glitches in the Matrix, you know what I mean? This one is kind of dumb.
I'm going to show you.
Because on the one hand, I feel like there could be glitches in the Matrix in the sense that we don't really understand the physics of higher dimensional physics and whatnot, So maybe maybe things are happening that we just don't understand. But that doesn't necessitate that we live in a simulation, because there's many, many basic philosophical problems that you could critique the simulation theory with. And we've done many videos on that. I'm not going to rehearse all those. We're going to go into my old videos of critiquing sim theory. You can do that. However, here's one thing I do think that we could potentially gather from simulation theory, and that is that simulation theory is premised on the idea that everything is an information field and perhaps energy information. And so maybe we can look at that and say, well, you guys have it wrong that it's fake. We don't live in a fake simulation. It's just that the metaphysics of the physical world, maybe it's just structured like an information field. And so maybe higher level things can appear to us in different and weird ways. That's part of the premise of one of the alien books that I mentioned. And that does fit with our paradigm, because we think there's higher spiritual worlds, realms, and so forth. The aeon. And they're populated by various types of beings. So perhaps, and I do think this is true given what we read in Dionysius with the celestial hierarchy and other books and texts from the history of not just our religion, but other world religions. The spiritual realm seems to be populated by a lot of different types of beings. And we know that there's at least 9 different choirs and ranks of angels that fell, right? And then beyond those things, there might be other types of things like Nephilim or the spirits of the Nephilim. Who knows? There's a lot of different possibilities that we're just not really told a lot about. We got the book of Enoch and these texts that are referenced in the New Testament, like the book of Jude, but they don't go into a lot of detail. I'm saying the New Testament, right? Now, the book of Enoch does have quite a bit of detail. But how all this works out, I don't think anybody really knows. So we have a lot of different theories, and I think it's fine to be open-minded about this. But most of these glitch in the Matrix videos, a lot of them are just baloney and fake. So let's look at some of these examples, because you'll notice the younger peeps are eating this up. People are really going nuts with the glitch in the Matrix stuff, because they think that it also proves Mandela effect ties into glitch in the Matrix, and thus we have more and more evidence, you see, mounting for simulation theory. But maybe God is the creator of this universe, and what all the people in sim theory are discovering is just the information field that makes up how this world is structured. And so if that doesn't, it doesn't mean that it's all a simulation. So in other words, because you liken something to a simulation, right? We have computers that have virtual worlds and simulant worlds. They simulate our world, video games. Well, we don't need to conclude that because a video game is a simulation of our world, that the world is also a simulation. In other words, there's not necessarily a one-to-one correspondence. They might just share commonalities that speak to a common origin or common creator. You see. So the problem with simulation theory is that they just want to always conclude, well, this world's fake, dude. It's fake. Well, why would we conclude that it's fake? First of all, a simulation isn't fake. In one sense, it's fake, but in another sense, it's also really existing. Maybe there's different types of things that exist. Maybe not everything has one type of existence. Maybe there's physical things and also non-physical things. Maybe there's spiritual things and also conceptual things that are not spiritual. Like maybe a law of logic, right? It's not the same thing as an angel. Both of them are non-physical, but they both exist in some way. So in other words, philosophy maybe can help us explain how different types of things can have different types of or modes of existence. The soul doesn't exist in the same way that the body exists, and yet the soul and the body seem to interrelate, and perhaps even in a spatial sense interrelate. You see, so philosophy can and theology can in a lot of ways help elucidate different possibilities here. So let's look at some of the examples from James LaFleur, CRYPTID, that tell us about what are supposed glitches in the Matrix. Now, this first one I've already seen. It's kind of clever the way the guy has done this, but I think it's kind of preposterous to take this seriously.
Guys, video evidence of the Mandela effect. But what is the Mandela effect? It's a very strange phenomenon where a large group of people remember a past event very differently from what is believed to be today. For instance, Nelson Mandela, he died in 2013, but a lot of people remember him dying in the 1980s. The same thing with Looney Tunes, and the same thing with the Monopoly guy, and the list goes on. But how do we explain such a thing? A lot of people believe that we're not living in the same alternate reality that we were in 10, 20, 30 years ago. But what happened? Why? And when? And why? Is there any video evidence of such a thing? An internet account by the name of the Top5s has been recording strange videos of this very old phone. And a lot of people believe that this old phone is actually capable of recording glimpses of this alternate reality that we do not live in anymore. Here's one, for instance. I'm going to show you guys a couple of videos, starting with this one from Britney Spears. A lot of people remember her using a plaid skirt in this video clip, but she's not using a plaid skirt anymore. Here he goes with the phone camera, a plaid skirt. She never used a plaid skirt. In this video clip, for instance, a lot of people remember Britney Spears using a microphone. Here he goes with the camera, the microphone. But she never did use a microphone. What is going on? The same thing with the laughing cow cheese. See how he passes his finger in front of the camera to prove this is not CGI. This is not a camera trickery. You see? Check that out. What is going on here? The same thing with the Monopoly guy. He's using a monocle. I remember him using a monocle. But he never did. If you search for Google, if you Google search him, the Monopoly guy, it says that he never used a monocle. What is going on? I'm going to show you guys.
Okay, so first thing about this is funny is that all this started appearing about 8 years ago, seven years ago. And I remember when the Mandela Effect blog first appeared. And the first thing that everybody was tying it to, oh, CERN, dude, they turned CERN on, bro, and it bent reality. So the first thing that CERN did when they turned it on was it started changing logos and screenplays, right? Luke, I am your father. No, he never says that. I am your father, right? No, I am. People are just, first of all, this is just people mixing up the Peanut Man with the Monopoly Man. And old Verizon phone is not going to show you the alternate dimension. So this one is just funny. But 376,000 people like this. That means James LaFleur got like probably 10 million views, 15 million views on that one. So people are believing the Mandela effect because of this. And I don't mind. I mean, I don't have a problem with people being open-minded, but come on, dude. A Verizon phone is not going to show you the alternate from 2005, an alternate dimension. And number one, and also when they turn on the CERN, so it's going to alter screenplays? Imagine all the power you have with CERN. You're basically godlike. And they're just going to alter about, oh, let's fuck with the screenplays, dude. Dude, turned up. You got that CERN turned up to a 5, turned it up to a 7, dude. And when they turned it up to a 7, we got Donald Trump as president. Now, I might actually believe that. I'm starting to believe it now. You telling me that if you turn the CERN dial up to a 9, and we be in a dang trans universe. And that's where we are. I'm starting to believe it. But I don't believe that there's a phone that shows me. But 376,000 people believe it, apparently. So a bunch of Asian men are on top of a mountain, and They look over and there's a dude without a head. So yeah, not good. Not buying that one.
Time travel is possible. Some people believe time travel is possible. Not only possible, it may have already happened. In this next video, a woman is going through some radio stations when this happens. Pay very close attention.
I hope it does it again.
For anyone listening to this message, what the fuck is going on? In contact with the Time Council. Tell them he's escaped and is following me. They'll find the buried in the tragedies, 265. There is hope. I don't give up time.
Am I fucking tripping right now? Ah, what is happening?
Some people believe
Now that one I do have to admit is a little weird, but for the girl that changes the radio station and she comes upon a reference to the Time Council and some sort of transmission, the most obvious thing that I think we should assume is that this is probably a fictional presentation on the radio, right? Remember Orson Welles? He did the H.G. Wells War of the Worlds, and people really thought there was an alien invasion, and that was a psyop, part of the Princeton research project. There's a whole book by Hadley Cantrell on that. So first of all, we shouldn't jump to the conclusion that there's actually a dang Time Lord Council, right? It's like we're Doctor Who over here, and there's secret messages to the Time Council. Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who, hey, Doctor Who, Doctor Who, the Time Lords, KLF, baby. No, I'm sorry, I don't think there's Time Lords. There might be angels that have governance of time. Maybe in that sense they're Time Lords. But there ain't no Doctor Who. Ain't no Tom Baker running around sending messages on 105.2 FM. This is the Time Lord. You're listening to Time Lord Radio, 102.5 FM. Next up, secret messages to the Time Council. No, I don't buy that, bro. But it is weird that she happened upon that frequency and that's playing. I'm not saying it's a psyop that they were playing that for her. Could be. But a lot of people don't know about what are called number stations. My first thought when I heard this was, oh, this is number station, bro. Do y'all know what a number station is? So during the Cold War, there were a lot of spies everywhere. And one way that people would communicate with their spies, whether the West or the Soviets, East Berlin, whoever, they would utilize what are called number stations. And the number station puts out a signal that is a cryptographic weird thing. And a lot of them, nobody knows what they're doing. And some of them are still active. They're still putting out codes. And the NSA had a lot of these. And I think they still do run some of them. So some of these are still active and are still actually giving codes to various spy operatives. I'm not kidding. And you'll notice here, for example, people are tuning into a Russian number station right here. And this is putting out a code. Right? And when you have the key, you can decode that. Now, they're not all codes that are like, Morse code. They're all kinds of things. Sometimes the code is a record playing, a weird song. Sometimes the code is, here's one for China. See how that one's really weird and it sounds like a bunch of gibberish. And then here's a bunch of nerds on the internet trying to crack the codes. Cuban number station. Here we go. Here's one from Cuba. So you can see in that one, it's just sound like a bunch of numbers. So you guys get the point, right? This is an old Cold War thing. Here's somebody doing, this one's famous. It's probably the most famous one. It's called the Lincolnshire Poacher. By the way, there's a John Cusack movie that's actually not that bad about number stations. And some of them are really weird, like records in reverse or people saying weird phrases. And some of them people still don't know what their purpose is. And that's, I think, what this one is. So that's British intelligence, if I recall putting out one of their old things. And then if you've watched The Americans, you know this, right? Because I think it's in season 1, right? Carrie Russell has her key, and she has to go and listen on the radio in the 70s to the code that the Soviets are putting out for her, to telling her what to do, right? So Moscow, because you don't have the internet, so how would you communicate with your spies in the field? You can't mail them a letter. We'll use a number station. Anyway, so my first thought about that one would be, okay, that's a number station, perhaps, right, where they're transmitting some goofy story or code. It could be anything like that. It's not. No, that one's dumb.
Glitch.
So let's get to a couple more glitches and see if we can. Now, a couple. I've seen maybe 2 or 3 glitch ones that seem pretty interesting, but that's all I can grant. I do want somebody to explain to me the situation with the airplanes, and I don't care if you think I'm dumb. I mean, I'm not a physics dude. Physics is not really my interest, but we got a lot of smart people in our chat, and I would like to have this one explained to me. I watched many videos on, and I'm sure you guys have all seen it, right? Where the airplane, when you're driving, I've seen it, like in my own experience, airplanes, when you're driving down the freeway and the airplane appears to be stable in the sky. Now, I know. It's from your vantage point, it appears to be sitting still, but the plane is actually moving. I know this. I've heard all of the explanations. But what I don't understand is, number one, okay, so let's say multiple scenarios. Let's say that the scenario of, I think he's going to have one here in a minute. Let's say the scenario that, okay, Earth is spinning at 60,000 miles an hour. Which, by the way, I'm not a flat earther, but I am fine being skeptical about all of these supposed claims. So I don't care either way. But now, wait a minute. So if Earth is spinning at 60,000 miles an hour, right, and then I'm going in reverse. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that I'm going in reverse of the way the Earth is spinning. And the plane is flying at me. That's the only way I could conceivably grasp that would work, where it appears to be sitting stationary in the sky. But think how fine-tuned that would have to be. But also, wait a minute, if Earth is spinning at 60,000 miles an hour, and I'm going in let's say I'm going the opposite direction, and the plane is, let's say, flying opposite me. So I'm on the ground here. Plane's up here flying at me. And let's say Earth is spinning, just happens to perfectly be tuned to be spinning in the direction that I'm going. Well, if that's the case, then the plane would be going super fast past me. It seems like. Now, let's say that it happened to be that the Earth is spinning perfectly in the opposite direction of the plane, or in the direction of the plane, and I'm going, then the plane should be going even faster past me, right? And vice versa. There's no way in this scheme to where it seems to me that the plane in the air would appear to be stationary. The other option is, it's nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the winds coming in. And this is the other explanation. I know the explanations. Okay, so then the other people say, well, it's the winds against the plane are slowing it, and it appears as you're driving by if it's stationary. Now, wait a minute. I don't care how strong the trade winds or whatever it's called, the anti winds, whatever the lingo is for you flight attendants and all y'all people. You still can't have a giant 747 appearing to be stationary. Like, they're always at least going like 300 miles an hour, right? I mean, people who work in aviation, please help explain this to me. And you can call me dumb, I don't care. Maybe I'm dumb, it's fine. I'm not a physics dude. I live in books and movies. I don't know the ways of the science. But I'm still not understand. So somebody in the chat, please explain to me, or actually, better yet, send me a super chat. pay me to solve this for me. Maybe somebody's explaining it. But do you see what I'm saying? I know about the theory of relativity, that the appearance of something, I know about that, right? I read about that years ago in, actually J.P. Moreland has a good book on this, where, let's say we're on a train and the train's going this way and I throw a ball in this direction, right? Then the idea is that if I'm standing on the ground, this is so stupid. Get rid of this guy. So wait, I don't know what knots are. So what's approach speeds? You're saying, no, dude, approach speed's 130 knots. I don't know a bunch of... Okay, so hold on. Everybody's going crazy in the chat. How fast is knots, dude? That sounds like pirate speak. That's boat speak, dude. Let's get Jack Sparrow up in here, right? Egregious. 120 knots. I guarantee 120 knots is still not going to look like Frozen. Okay, so 138 miles an hour. I'm sorry, but that doesn't look like Frozen. So, I'm not talking about the movie Frozen. I know what parallax is. I'm familiar with these things. So, I did have college astronomy classes. But what I'm saying is, have you ever scrolled through a page that felt... That's not parallax. What are you talking about? That has to do with the moon, right? And the parallax effect. By the way, I read an article years ago from NASA. And again, NASA's not credible, dude. I know. So you jumped on me before you even knew what I was going to say. I read an article years ago, and I wrote, I was tasked with, I used to work for a local publisher, and I was tasked with doing we got to get at this. Is getting crazy. We're not here to debate this stuff all day long. Anyway, I had to write on the moon, and I thought it was interesting because I don't know that much about the moon, right? This was like 10 years ago. So I wrote a piece for a local publication about the moon, and I was going into the harvest moon. And I had to read all about parallax effect, and I know about all that with the moon and all this stuff. But the problem is that apparently they still don't know. Yeah, see the lunar parallax. They still don't know why the moon looks large, right? The harvest moon. So I read a whole bunch on this, and basically all of the so-called experts at NASA were like, we don't know. We don't actually still... So there's theories, but nobody actually knows why, apparently, according to NASA, what I read years ago, they don't know exactly why the moon appears to be large, because if you say, oh, well, it's just junk in the atmosphere and you're seeing a bunch of dust, but wait a minute, how come nothing else looks large? And by the way, isn't there junk in the atmosphere all the time? Why is there, so there's just junk in the atmosphere during the harvest moon? Why is it always the same junk to make the moon always look that large? So the point being that what I gathered after several weeks of researching for this thing, nobody freaking knows. That's what I came to. That's what I understood from this. And if you disagree, I don't care. It's fine. You can have whatever views you want on this. I don't know that. Okay, maybe parallax could explain the I don't. First, I don't understand how it explains the moon thing. So okay, so I don't know why I was getting 60,000. So supposedly we're going 1,000 miles an hour. Where was I getting 60 from? Now this is what I was getting at. Okay, excuse me. We're going 67,000, but we're spending 1,000. So that's it. I knew I was getting 60,000 miles an hour from somewhere. So supposedly we go around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour, and supposedly we spin at 1,000 miles an hour. And I don't care either way. But my point is just that when you go to, first of all, I don't see how it makes sense with airplanes that go 500 miles an hour or even 130 miles an hour when they're landing, appearing to be stationary. It's just confusing. And I know what parallax is because I had to write that paper about it, but I don't understand it. So now people are like, oh, you got to go into the speed of light. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Come on. And people think, no, I'm a skeptic, bro. That's the thing. So you think I'm this, you think I'm that. No, I'm a skeptic. I'm a genuine skeptic. A genuine skeptic, like Charles Fort, right? Fortean research type stuff. A genuine skeptic is open to a lot of different possibilities. But as a genuine skeptic, that also doesn't mean that I automatically jump on every internet goober who has mind problems. Anyway, let's get back to some of the glitches. We can't spend all day trying to figure out the dang moon. We'll never get out of here. Thank you for the super chats, guys. If you would hit like and share. Let's see more glitches in the Matrix.
Glitches in the Matrix compilation part 2. Leave a like for part 3. This first video. You can see what appears to be the figure of a humanoid here. What is going on? In this next video, a person seems to glitch out of nowhere and was caught on a CCTV camera.
I think this guy froze.
Check this out.
Literally. What the fuck?
Notice the camera here. You can see a person moving, approaching. This person approaches the entrance, and this is what
Yeah,
happens.
he is literally there. It's not the camera that's frozen, it's him. There he is. This dude is fucking still.
Okay, these two are kind of ridiculous to me because the first one, I mean, that looks like something that somebody added in their own dang, Pokemon, Scion, whatever creature in the sky. And then the next one, it looks to me like they just froze the top camera where the guy is until the dude started walking in behind him. You know what I mean? Like that one, that's too, I mean, maybe people are freezing and glitching. I mean, we did see after the coof, people glitching out. Jamie? I just had a glitch in my house. Somebody's in there yapping and chirping. Ain't nobody in here. Jamie's gone. So maybe I'm convinced now. There's dogs yipping, and we don't even have a dog, and someone's yipping in the other room. Jamie's not here. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna have to fake my own videos to get viral. Which I think a lot of this is people making this crap up, right? But I don't think all of these are faked. This one, I'm gonna vote probably not. They're probably just frozen. I don't buy that one.
What the fuck?
A person captures what appears to be an airplane halted mid-air.
Guys, how the fuck does airplane not moving? It's just sitting there. How the fuck is that doing that?
A person simply...
So there's one of the examples of the airplanes. Now, I've seen this like probably 10 times. I know everybody... Surely you guys have seen this, right? Where the airplane appears to be frozen. And here's what I'm saying, right? So if we're driving in the opposite direction, this person is basically going in the opposite direction. And it just still doesn't make sense to me why, if you're heading towards the direction of the plane, it would appear to be stationary. In other words, if you're going at it, imagine something coming at you at 130 miles an hour, and you're going 70 miles an hour towards it. Shouldn't it be even faster coming at you? And let's say you're not coming directly at it. Let's say you're driving parallel to it. It should still be going fast. Even if it's, I mean, unless you're like driving side by side with it, right?
There. How the fuck is that doing that?
A person's...
And somebody keeps saying parallax. But I thought parallax had to do with lunar parallax, right? Parallax is the apparent shift caused by viewing an object from two different vantage points. You can easily blink your right and left eye, and the parallax. Okay, but how does that apply to this? So it goes back to Hipparchus in Greece. He estimated the distance of the moon using lunar parallax. And this talks about a bunch of stuff, blah, blah, blah. So I could understand different vantage points giving you a different perspective on something, but it's not it's the movement, right? It's not the angle that you see the airplane at. It's the movement of the airplane. Well, how about this? Just put me a link in the freaking chat to a video that explains what's going on with airplanes. Because I watched a bunch of pilots talking about it, and none of what they said made sense to me. So, but maybe I just didn't find the right pilot with the right explanation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, so parallax is when you look out your car window, yeah, and you see the things in the distance appear to be moving slower than the objects up close. But the objects that you're talking about in terms of parallax are stationary. That plane's not stationary. That's my point, right? Yeah, exactly. We're getting straight up coast to coast in here today. We got to have fun, though, because look, dude, I get a few thousand viewers and likes. And look, James LaFleur's over here with Glitch in the Matrix videos getting 300,000 likes. So come on.
Simply disappears during lives.
I mean, apparently this is what everybody wants. This is what everybody's talking about. Nobody wants to talk about all the stuff I talk about.
Transmission.
Now, didn't it come out that the guy that was in Spain that was doing all the videos, that he was using Adobe to make the people disappear? So wouldn't that just be Adobe? And it was a marketing thing? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? The guy that was supposed to be TikToking from the future. Do you know this guy? Not John Tidor, but like the new version of it. That one's dumb. I've seen that one.
Glitch in the Matrix Part 1, leave a like for Part 2. A man finds a mysterious hole in the middle of the desert. Check this out.
Yeah, that's not a mysterious hole. That's just he's digging and there's a furnace down there. So... No, don't worry, this one.
That broom fucking
Drives to a cash machine and captures something chilling on camera.
Also, am I just tripping or is that broom fucking standing up by itself?
Bro, that's a dang homeless man over there smoking it up. Is it just resting? Is the tip of it resting on something? You know what I mean?
And he's fucking smoking crack right there. Bitch!
That's a glitch in the Matrix right there, for real.
What is happening?
Maybe we seeing what he's seeing.
A family is having a good time at the park when all of a sudden something strange happens and it's recorded.
NPC glitch.
Pay attention to the little kid. Glitch.
Now, we used to play games like that where my buddies and I we walk around and then you freeze playing a game. You know what I mean? So, like, I just don't know why we would conclude that one grandpa, 4 cups. This is a good one. Have you seen this one?
A glitch in the Matrix, a magic trick, or something else entirely. I'm gonna show you guys a video and then try to explain it. Check.
I used to do that all the time where I'd be walking, I'd suddenly just freeze and then let everybody else walk on, and then they look back and you're frozen. Just playing around with people. So that was probably dad doing a dad joke, dude. You never heard of a dad joke? But there are people that seem to be on drugs and having mental problems glitching out. You know what I mean? Fentanyl zombies, they glitching out hard. By the way, thank you for those super chats, guys. We're having a lot of fun today. I hope you're not getting spooked out and scared. Look, if we're living in the Matrix, me and you, all y'all, we're gonna be Neos together. If we are living in the Matrix, then we're the Neos. So don't worry about it. And we're gonna have fun on the way as we decode the program, the Matrix. Send your super chats there. Support the show. Let's see what else James LeFleur Quippy has for us.
I've seen the milk illusion before. It's phenomenal. I love this. 2 ounce.
Now we know if we got a boomer doing the milk illusion. I think aren't these like trick cups? Isn't that the way this works? This is like a magic shop trick. Like you go to the magic shop, right?
This is supposed to.
Yeah, they're trick glasses. If you use 4 different style glasses that weren't, it'd be convincing, right?
Fill all of these one at a time, and then
The way it works is that the glass looks to be like giant, but it's just the same. It just lets the liquid fill the outer part of the glass. Is the way that works.
at the end, everything goes. You gotta share this. This is just absolutely incredible. It's just too much. It's just too much milk. It's too much darn milk. Get rid of this. And then at the end, in the comments, they're like, man, you have
Glitch in the Matrix.
Now that is pretty cool at the end where
A glitch in the Matrix, a magic trick.
you gotta share this. This is just absolutely.
One theory. Another theory is that, as you can see in these 3 cups, there is already some sort of liquid poured in, and you can see it very clearly here. Now, some people believe that this liquid is responsible for expanding the milk, making it look like it's some sort of glitch in the Matrix or not. I'm not sure. What do you guys...
yes, it's a trick. That's pretty weird. I have to admit that one's pretty good. Weird sort of like breaks in the clouds. But I mean, there are technologies that can cloud bust and manipulate the atmosphere.
A glitch in the Matrix.
Dang it. So maybe this is just some kind of harp thing. But it does look like it's broken. I'm not saying it means we live in a Matrix. I'm just saying that's an odd one.
Glitch in the Matrix compilation part 1. Leave a like for part 2. A man sees what appears to be a cloud in the sky, but this is until he realizes it's something else entirely. Check this out.
seen no shit.
Now this one is genuinely weird, but aren't there various like you know, Bill Nye Science Man chemical reactions? Remember that show, Mr. Wizard? And he was always doing a bunch of jibber jabber with chemicals and, you know, making shit pop up and, you know, creating little, you know, like a baking soda and vinegar type of thing, right? So presumably this could just be some sort of amorphous chemical reaction that was created. You know, like those machines that you can buy for parties, and they create the big circle that floats through the sky. Have you seen these? I mean, it's obvious. People were saying years ago, "Oh, this is like it's alien portals, dude." No, it's just a thing that you can rent at a freaking party that blows a giant circle in the sky, right? It's like a smoke machine for parties. Creates ring. And they were black rings. And everybody was freaking out. It's aliens, dude. This thing right here. This is a thing you rent for a freaking party.
A strangely shaped black cloud hovered in the sky over Moscow. The rising wave of black smoke was filmed from several angles at once.
It's a machine you rent for parties. It's not a dang alien. And obviously it's smoke, right? So look, if that kind of a thing is out there, right, then wouldn't we kind of assume that maybe this is that something like that? But the interesting part about that is that it does seem to have lights. It's like flickering with lights. And so somebody said it was ball lightning. Well, let's see. Can we get another look at ball lightning? Let's see. Let's see what it looks like on video.
Welcome to Just Smile More. In today's video, we will be exploring the mysterious and fascinating phenomenon known as ball lightning. Stick more about this rare natural occurrence. Atmospheric phenomenon.
Okay, so people are theorizing that these orbs that everybody sees are actually ball lightning. Well, I mean, do we know that that's ball? I mean, it could be, but I'm saying, do we know that it is? Or is that a theory? Because, I mean, who knows what all these are? And it's odd that we don't... Yeah, so this is all the orbs, right? Wow, that's crazy. Interesting. So the stationary ball of light, yeah, it looks like it could be... That's what that could be. But this doesn't look like ball lightning to me. This thing that he's showing. Okay, Candace. We know. So, I mean, maybe it's ball lightning. Who knows? But, you know, a lot of times these orbs appear and there's no lightning. I mean, there's no clouds or storms. Right, so you've got essentially clear skies and nothing, and then we see these orbs appearing. Well, that's crazy. So this is a security camera, which is supposedly a ball lightning, just kind of taking a nap, just chilling. Just resting. Okay. Here comes a storm right now. It's storming. Look at that synchronicity. It's storming right now outside. So wait, that's the ball over there. He didn't even see it? Oh, he walked too close to the ball. Bap! Got him. Knocked his keys out of his hand. Could be. So maybe, but that doesn't look like ball lightning. I don't know what that I mean, look, it does light up though. Watch.
The sparkly lights in it.
See the sparkles?
Shit like that.
Glitch. Glitch in the Matrix compilation.
All right. What is that one? We got a smart audience. Y'all the smartest people on the internet. Literally. What is that? Y'all know, right? Exploding chemical weather balls. Ball lightning is fake and gray. Ben Franklin. That brother man got Ben Franklin today. Zap got to knock the keys out of his hand. It's a phantasm orb. What does that mean? It's pot smoke. There we go. That's one big giant puff of smoke right there. Why is it lit up though? It's lit up because we lit up. You wouldn't know nothing about that though.
Deer seems to spawn out of nowhere. Pay very close attention.
Okay. Deer got creatures spawning. Dang it. Come on, James.
Glitch in the Matrix compilation.
Where's the deer at? Now, deer are funny things. I mean, it can be a plastic bag because it's lighting up, dude. It's not a plastic bag. It's a giant... It looks like a bunch of cotton candy floating in the sky is what it looks like. Anyway. There was this funny thing. We were talking about Leibniz in one of my classes. And the professor was talking about how Leibniz had this view... I'm trying to remember how he described it. About animals. And he was describing it like a matrix. Like... that they kind of come and go out of being. But that might be because there was these older theories before Darwin about spontaneous generation. And so a lot of people at that time thought that beings, creatures, like animals, that they could kind of just come and go. And Leibniz had some kind of view, if I remember my professor describing this, like that they were kind of just recycled. So like they would kind of come into being and then they were there for a while and then they would kind of die and then go back and then kind of get recycled. So if you're a Leibnizian scholar, you can correct me on that. I'm trying to remember from 15 years ago, but it sounded very matrixy, if that makes sense. So I don't know. But I'm not saying that deers manifest out of nowhere. I'm just saying that it reminded me of that.
I don't know what it is with basketball games or soccer games, but usually there's a glitch going on. Check this out. Where'd the ball come from? Check this
So
out.
somebody just edited out the ball being passed. So he passed it and it's just edited. It's just obviously edited out.
On his phone, like at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, could that come out like
What the heck is that?
on his phone, like at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, could that come out?
Well, there you go. That's a dang muskrat coming into being and going out of being right there. Right? A soap cloud. A soap cloud? Somebody said, maybe that's the best proof for Leibniz's monads right there, is that you got muskrats that just come and go. I mean, they're on muskrat time. They're doing their own thing. When you're a muskrat, shit's got to get done. You show up, you're outie. You're a muskrat. That's how it is. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. Now, what's going on with the muskrat? We got all the smart people in the crowd here today debunking. We got a bunch of debunkers setting the record straight. By the way, if you guys would hit like and share. So far, I've only seen a couple videos in today's selections that I thought were a little odd. Haven't really seen anything to convince me of anything yet. So you can support the show via Super Chats right there in the Super Chat function. We got all the way up to like 700 or 800 a minute ago. So I guess people don't want... Y'all tired of Matrix glitch stuff? Let's see what else we got.
Blue Spark was recording a beautiful sunset with his friend by the lake when he noticed something strange about the sun. And he was able to record it.
Like going on its way out. What the hell is that? Did you see that shit?
It's going around. It's like going nowhere.
What the fuck is that?
I believe this is a sunspot. People are... I mean, that's to me, that's what that obviously would be, right?
Maybe it's coming.
This phenomenon, you can see it a little bit better. Some people think it might be a sunspot, but I'm not too sure. Others think it's CGI. This is why Blue Spark made another video explaining it a little bit better. Check this out.
Forever thinks I was playing, or this is CGI or something. I just was going through my old stuff. If you check my account, I was just going through my things. Cloud.
Oh, well, I guess if you're going through your old stuff, then there's no way you could be a CGI. So.
Birds glitching midair.
Uh-oh. Glitching the Matrix with the birds. No.
Blue Spark was recording a woman noticed something really strange.
Dang it. Where's the birds at?
Blue Spark was recording. A woman noticed. Birds glitching.
Okay, those were not very good. How would that be a glitch in the Matrix? I mean, it's weird, but...
Glitches in the Matrix caught on camera.
You see that shit is not moving? That shit is not moving. The planet is it? No, nothing is moving. The planet's not even fucking going. The planet's not waving. What the fuck is that? The planet's not.
A tree branch was broken apart by a hurricane, but do you see the fence? It's completely intact. How is that possible?
Now, this one is interesting because there are a lot of recorded phenomena that are weird in regard to storms and tornadoes. So it appears, this is just a theory, that when there's a tornado, whatever's going on with the atmosphere being, electrified or whatever, ions and all that stuff, it seems to have the ability to put solid objects through other objects, right? So there's a lot of cases where trees are like suspended through other solid objects, like entirely through. And one theory is that something's going when the electricity in the atmosphere is so intense that it will actually make solid things like plastic or malleable. Now I'm from Tennessee. We get not hurricanes. We get tornadoes all the time, so I'm super used to this. But it's a weird phenomenon that does happen in tornadoes, and I'll show you some pictures if there's any of it. So that is looks like a metal pole with wood, it might be wood. So that's a piece of wood through a metal pole. There's another one. But you can say, well, that's just the wind. People have some pictures of some really good ones. I don't remember what I typed in. I looked at this a long time ago. You got to type in something like strange phenomena where that's a pretty good one there. No, we don't want to go to that. But you'll see how the wood is completely through the tree. There's other examples that are better than these of like metal, where it happens with metal too. Anyway, there might be a name for this phenomenon. If y'all know, just let me know. I just don't remember what it's called. I looked at it a long time ago. But if you guys would hit like and share. I think we're about done with glitches in the Matrix. Let's see what else we got.
Disappears, and helping the other with the car. The man helping the other with the car. It simply disappears. Where did he go? I don't see it.
That's an odd one.
In the desert, in Saudi Arabia, water started pouring out of nowhere. A dog walks on water.
Yeah, that's a pool that has a surface on it. That's kind of awesome, though, if the trees are moving themselves. It's like the Ints, dude. We got the Ints. The Int-moot. There go Treebeard. These were going around a while back. Do you remember these when the people were saying the trees are moving, dude? So, here's another one of these weird formations. It's an odd cloud, if it is a cloud. You guys having fun today? What's on your mind? That's a Mario cloud, dude. A square cloud.
Real life glitch in the Matrix Part 3. Watch. Real life glitch in the Matrix Part 3. Watch. Real life.
And Grandma just going, just coming and going.
Walking.
Grandma like the muskrat we saw a minute ago.
Walking. Look. This plane. Is it moving?
Now, maybe in this scenario, because it's one of these smaller planes, the headwinds are so strong that the crosswinds, maybe that's what's going on with this one. It just seems very difficult for the 747s, that it would be the crosswinds able to make them basically be stationary.
Real life glitch in the Matrix Part 2.
Now, this one's pretty crazy. This is one of the ones that I think is probably more legit. And, I mean, it easily could be faked, right? But this is very much like a guardian angel type of a scenario. So this one I think is probably kind of legit. Of all of these, this is a well-known one.
These guys look the same, but this man knew beforehand what was going to happen. How did he know that? Watch.
See what I mean? That was a pretty good one. I'll give some props to that one. That one I think is interesting. I mean, the only thing I could think of is that if I wanted to debunk that would be, well, it looks like he taps the shoulder and the guy doesn't turn this way because he taps this shoulder, the guy turns this way, which is a little odd. So if I was going to go into hardcore debunk mode, I would bring that point up. But that one's pretty good. I'll give one to that one. This one is an odd one. I don't know how to explain this one because I don't think this chick, I mean, unless her boyfriend's doing it, this one is odd. I mean, I guess they could have easily just scrubbed the cloud, but you'll see what I mean.
This person saw a real life glitch in the Matrix Part 1.
You guys see that shadow? Where are the clouds? Where are the clouds?
This person saw a real
So the cloud, there's a shadow, but there's no cloud, right?
You guys see that shadow? Where are the clouds? Where are the clouds?
Somebody said she didn't look all the way around. Yeah, it could be. All right, so that's enough of these goofy glitch in the Matrix videos. So far, I am not convinced of glitches in the Matrix. What about you guys? I'm trying to think of any of the glitch in the Matrix videos I've seen that I thought were any good. I mean, that one that if it was real, it was just a guardian angel or a helpful citizen. Nothing about that made me think glitch in the Matrix. One person was trying to say a glitch in the Matrix was somebody was having a OCD episode. They're like doing the same thing over and over and over. It's like, it's a glitch in the Matrix, dude. No, that's just a person with OCD. What are you talking about? But I guess millennials and Gen Zers who don't do or know anything, they automatically believe the most outlandish thing. So let's see what people are saying about glitches in the Matrix.
Okay, so a bunch of you guys have tagged me in this video, and I can't do it right now because for some reason it like loses the sound, and I want you to see the full screen video anyway because it's really cool. So here it is. The original creator is tagged in my description, and enjoy.
So she's got, look at this, 468,000 views. I mean likes, not views, likes. What? How many followers has this chick got? This is crazy. 500,000. Weird stories and woo-woo with this wine mom over here. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what's... People are loving this stuff. And it's like, most of this shit is so dumb, dude. I mean, I'm open to a few things that seem to be plausible, but are we just getting super dumbed down? That's my concern. You know what I mean? It's like people are getting really dumb and believing anything. And if you believe anything, then you are susceptible to being manipulated into everything.
So if there's any like supernatural or like spirity people that can explain these next videos, please watch this. So my nanny passed away a couple
Yeah, I'm spirity and supernatural. I can explain them for you.
weeks ago, and my mom has been clearing out her house. Nanny has a camera installed on the inside of her house, so it just faces her living room, her front door, and her stairs. You'll see it in the next clips, but the past couple of days something really weird has happened. So no one else has a key to my nanny's house apart from my mum, so that's really important for this. So this is the first clip. Here's my mum leaving my nanny's house. This is around 3:30. And she doesn't come back until the next morning. So there's nothing on the floor, there's nothing in sight, specifically at the door there's nothing left there. So my mum leaves, doesn't come back, and nobody else comes into the house. This is in the next morning. My mum is so confused because there's a gift bag left at the door. Nobody has had access to this house. The ring camera didn't pick up any motion in between my mum leaving and my mum arriving back with any person detected. So this is what was left at the door. She's so confused. She says she remembers leaving that bag upstairs. There's a pair of slippers in it. And I'll show you what the bag said, like what the gift bag actually said. So it says on it, a little something just for you, which is like so strange because gift bags usually say like happy birthday or Merry Christmas or things like that. But the fact it says this is so weird. But the next clip is where it gets even weirder. So like I said, there's been no motion of a person detected in the house. It's literally just been my mum leaving, my mum coming back, but the ring camera like records through the night or just constantly. So I'll show you the next clip. This video is not edited. Watch right here. I'm just going to show it again.
That's the ghost of Bed Bath & Beyond, dude. When they said Bed Bath & Beyond, that's the beyond. From beyond the portals of the next dimension, the netherworld. Bed, Bath, and Netherworld, dude. Right? That was kind of dumb. But that's the top glitch in the Matrix video. That is a storm.
This is an incredibly shocking scene captured by cameras. After watching it, I couldn't count
That was a storm just blowing a piece of cardboard, dude. That's not a glitch in the Matrix.
down for a long time. It truly made me believe in the existence of parallel universes. In the footage, the girl is playing with her phone while cleaning. She quickly gathers the trash together, but just as she picks up the dustpan to collect the garbage, she suddenly notices that the broom has vanished into thin air. This sight completely baffles the girl, leaving her standing still in bewilderment. She can't comprehend how the broom she was holding just moments ago could disappear. Could it be a ghost? After several minutes of searching, the girl still can't find the vanished broom. The broom has vanished into the trash together. But just as she picks her phone while cleaning, she quickly gathers the trash together. But just as she picks up the dustpan to collect the garbage, she suddenly notices that the broom has vanished into thin air. This sight completely baffles the girl, leaving her standing still in bewilderment.
This is gotta be the dumbest of all, right? Because the broom is in her hand. This is so stupid.
Startling her to the point where she almost shouts for her mother. If it weren't for the surveillance to her fallen phone with great distress, weeping. Perhaps the captivating content on TikTok distracted her. Unfortunately, in her multitasking state, her phone coincidentally drops to the ground. The girl looks at her fallen phone with great distress.
This is so dumb. Where's the proof? I want some proofs. Give me some good ones and all this garbage. What?
Leave me walking. I'm walking.
Wait a minute. That wasn't even the same car, dude. The car leaving has the top up. No, it doesn't. Okay, it was the same car. Interesting. Freak accident.
Is it moving?
It's moving. Like literally all the houses are the same, right? How it's a fucking simulation. Like literally all the houses are the same, right? Why the fuck are all these white cars like dead ass?
Can I see that shadow? Where? Where are the clouds?
All right, I've had enough of these. These are dumb. Let's get to some of our creepy, crawly, spooky videos. And let's see if we can scare y'all, scare the bejangles out of you. By the way, thank you for today's fun audience. I'm not convinced of the glitch in the Matrix, so find me the better ones that you guys have seen, because none of those were very convincing. If you would, hit like and share. Also, support the show via the super chat function right there. And let's see what is going to spook us over here.
Be an eerie smoke-like figure seems to fly right through it. Now, normally I would try to...
Now, a lot of these security cam footage and all that seems to be some of the best, right? Bizarre Bub's good. We'll maybe check his stuff out here in a second, but let's see what this
look at
is.
this and find some simple explanation for a capture like this.
That looks like ridiculous CGI. Sorry.
As the figure passes through it is just weird. Why it was
really
left
dumb.
abandoned. Takeuchi immediately finds it extremely odd that there are no stairs leading up to the house's attic.
Now this is the dude the Japanese dude that goes and investigates Japanese haunted houses, Nippon ghosts, and again, I think a lot of these are very easy to stage, but some of these are pretty creepy. Genuinely, some of them seem to actually be phenomena occurring in these places. So let's see. I don't know if I've seen this. Take your mask off, dude. There ain't no COVID in a freaking haunted house. There ain't no COVID floating in the Japanese air, bro. Take your mask off. Fake. Was that supposed to be two chunk legs? Did you see the chunk legs? Or is that a mannequin? That's just a fat dude. That's just his fat friend upstairs, dude. In my opinion, these are the dumbest.
Takeuchi's camera captures two extremely pale...
Oh, give me a break, dude. That's stupid. The ghost hunting videos are usually the worst. They're really dumb.
What is going on here? But viewers of the video believe that the woman had an encounter with some kind of small creatures, or possibly even spirits. But what do you think? Let me know.
Oh, this one looks pretty good. Let's go back.
Outside her home, she goes to check out the odd noises, and this is when things start to get really weird.
Look at that little dude. She got a smoke midget, dude. You see that smoke midget? A shadow midget.
A small figure,
a smoke midget.
A toddler can be seen running off into the shadows, but another small figure can be spotted just outside the gate. Whatever it is seems to throw some kind of dust or sand over the fence at the confused and horrified woman. Now, it's unknown what is thrown, and without a source, it's impossible to know just what...
That one was alright. I mean, again, yes, it could always be staged, but that one wasn't bad. I kind of like that one. I'll give that a medium on the scale.
Document and record everything abnormal that happens in his home. The Lamb House in Carmel.
Now, one thing I've noticed too about I've been watching. I've watched thousands of these, right? Of the people who are claiming that they have phenomena in their house, and I think some of these are real. But one thing I've noticed is that a lot of the people that are talking about the phenomena, unless they're all lying, which is possible, they do talk about their interest in their experimentation with the occult. So I have seen this as a consistent pattern with a lot of these people, that people living in these kind of ratty houses, they're always talking about, we got the Ouija board out and then we tried to contact whatever was in here. Why are you throwing things at me, mate? Why are you throwing me shit around, mate? Why are you pulling me bro's hair? Why are you doing it? And then it got even worse when we started trying to do the Ouija board. Right? They're like trying to do Ouija board stuff, and then it gets worse. And then they're like, I'm trying to do the ritual magic to try to get rid of it. And so, dude, well, you're all doing the wrong stuff.
Maine. Kent says that his house is haunted by multiple spirits who regularly make themselves known through banging, bizarre EVPs, and often even manifesting.
I can't stand the EVP stuff. That's the dumbest of all, the EVPs.
Now, I featured Ghost of Carmel, Maine on...
All the EVP stuff is so stupid. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying that it couldn't be possible, but it's just like it's basically worthless evidence, right? Any of the video evidence could potentially be fake, but the video evidence is at least a little bit better than the EVP stuff, right? Where it's like, fart. Whoa, dude, you hear that? The ghost just said fart in my ear, dude.
Stopped by many times through the years, so if you're a regular viewer, the channel should seem familiar. So, one afternoon after Ken has just come home from work, his grandson starts to complain that there are strange noises.
That was a pussy cat.
Coming from upstairs. Just in case, Kent grabs his camera as he goes.
Oh, dude. Why are you filming for everybody on the internet in your wife beater? I'll tell you what, I'll give him props, because if he wanted to go for gritty realism in that greasy ass wife beater with looks like hanging cut off at the end. Look at that, cut off. Come on, dude. A wife beater. If you're gonna show me ghosts, man, put on some real clothes.
Supposed to investigate.
You gotta have some drip. You can't be contacting and working with spirits with no drip, dude. At least put on a 3-piece suit or something.
What happens next is absolutely unnerving.
Got no drip trying to interact with ghosts. No drip at all. Dressed like a drunk stepdad.
As Ken is about to step inside the upstairs bedroom, a dark figure leaps out toward him, and then the bedroom door just slams shut on its own.
Okay, Mel, Ken should get some better lighting up in that house.
We're on
That's
the YouTube
garbage.
channel, Ghosts of Carmel, Maine. Creeper. Adrian Montenegro and his family are spending some fun family time together on the Cerro de la Silla mountain in the city of Monterrey, Mexico. But then something very weird happened.
EVE Online on Mac immerses you in a universe with
No bajes los pies.
Hey, dude. Hey, fool. Hey, you better get some people out here, like some cops or something. Because there's like an 8-foot dude. And he's just kind of like wandering around doing butt stuff or something. Hey, fool. Regardless, you better get some people out here. That one was pretty good. I mean, it's probably fake, but...
Watching the family.
Well, now, wait a minute. Why isn't this just a creeper? Right? Like, why is that?
Being careful about maneuvering around it.
That's just a weird dude. That's just a creepy, weird dude.
In the dark, so as not to be seen. So the question is this a paranormal event caught on camera? Or worse, is it a person? A person creepily watching the family from the edge of the darkness.
Hey, fool.
Passing?
Hey, fool. There's barely a creeper out here, but regardless, you better send some people or something, because he's touching butts, you know.
True. This next video was sent in by Nuke's Top 5 viewer Shahar from Israel.
Shalom, bro. Where Uri Geller at? Let's go after some of that silverware, boy. We got a whole silverware platelet to attack. What's up? Shout out. That's the rake. You think so? Y'all think that's the rake? Is that the skinwalker? Is it dog man? Is it Watiko? Watiko. David Ott talks about the Watiko. And 5 Cents Reality can't show Watiko. Human Watiko nature. If you would hit like it. You guys, want to remind you too that a lot of y'all got a problem. I'm going to tell you your problem right now. And I'm going to help you fix it. A lot of y'all are soy. We got a lot of toxic soy boys out there. And I want you to become toxic masculine men. And the way you do that is to head on over to choq.com. That's CHOQ.com. The link is in the show description because they have the best adaptogens and supplements available out there. In fact, the Tomcat Elite that I'm showing you right here, the Tomcat 100, that's my personal favorite. It's proven in peer-reviewed studies that you can read over at choq.com to boost testosterone. So if you're looking for ways to man up in a real way, right? You're going to come at the dog man. You're going to have to grapple with a little bit of Sasquatch. You might have to do a little bit of BJJ with Dogman. You might have to do some Krav Maga on freaking Pikachu. You might have to do a little bit of karate on what's that little critter that the goat sucker? What's his name? I went blank. What's the goat sucker, Jamie? Chupacabra, right? How are you going to fight off a Chupacabra or a Nephilim? And everybody knows a Nephilim comes in at least 8-foot installments. You could probably order a 10-foot Nephilim easy. What are you going to do when you end up facing up on a Dogman with Tico, Chupacabra, and a 10-foot Nephilim? And you're over there with noodle soy arms. Nothing. You're gone. You're roasted. You're toast, dude. You're going to have probes in your behind in no time. You're the plaything of the gray thing. You see what I'm saying here? When I say fake and gray, I'm saying they're going to probe you. And you can't fight them off because you're a soy man. Well, one way to get out of being a soy man is to head on over to choq.com and use the promo code J50. That's JAY50. 50% off. Action 2.0 to boost your energy levels. The 7 wonders to make up for our nutrient deficient diets with the 7 best mushrooms with the 7 best minerals. You can also get a hold of that She Legit. Mental focus and clarity out the wazoo. Jamie loves it. She can read a whole book in 2 days when she's taking that She Legit. Head on over to choq.com and choq.com and use the promo code J50. That's JAY50 to get 50% off all those beloved Choq products. You can also get the She Legit, or excuse me, the cacao beans, and you can also get the chocolate, a great addition to your morning smoothie regimen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's get back to our cholos over here, our shalom-los over here, trying to creep up on some creeps. Now this is the most popular, one of the most popular of all these.
The 3 friends are completely unaware
right.
as a strange translucent white figure seems to float right by them. Then Shahar's friend spots a dark shadowy figure off to the right. They all look and they see what they describe as, quote, a black shadow running off into the woods.
I mean, there's some crazy stuff going on in Israel. So, I mean, maybe, you know, what's the city that's the most notorious for Skittles? Tel Aviv. Maybe there's some crazy stuff going on in Tel Aviv. I could believe there might be some shadow people. You know what I mean?
Of what used to be a stunning historic interior. But almost immediately, Chris starts to find signs that he might not be alone inside the abandoned school.
Somebody said that was a vape cloud. That was a human-shaped vape cloud. Maybe they can blow it out in the shape of a human.
Homeless people, man.
There's one simple here.
Don't you think a lot of the phenomena in the abandoned places is just homeless people? Probably. These are the worst, man. I hate these abandoned building ghosts. They're the worst. Every now and then there's one that's maybe okay, but they're just so stupid and boring.
Look at this.
That was obviously placed there. Come on, dude. I don't believe you no more. Faking great.
Is once again not getting any rest in his haunted apartment.
Y'all can't touch Bizarre Bub now. Top 5s, you have to up your game. Bizarre Bub's way better at finding these than you. These are weak sauce, bro. That's just somebody dropping something. Come on. Now I have seen some good videos of security cameras in like India and Indonesia, Pakistan. There's always some demonic stuff going on over there, dude. And I think we can understand why, where, you know, everybody's openly worshiping a bunch of demons. Shit, that ghost is already up in there taking a shower, dude. A ghost came home drunk, went up in the shower. He really did go up in the shower. For real. One thing I've noticed too, now I don't know about in this case, but keep in mind that a lot of people are not good at acting. This is another key to deciphering and debunking and figuring out the truth in a lot of these videos, because when you hear people act and they're no good, you can immediately, all right, that's fake, right? Because when they attempt to react to the supposed phenomenon and they're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? What the heck is happening? This is crazy. Oh my gosh. I hope that I got that for everyone on TikTok. Whoa. Right. I mean, that's bull crap, right? I mean, everybody can tell that's bad acting. But keep in mind, most people are not good actors. So they're not good at pretending to, you know, really be seeing these things. So, I mean, did he just turn his own lights off? I mean...
A bottle in the hallway smashes to the ground. The lights...
That's just a drunk ghost, dude. He's having to get up in there and...
Even worse.
He had to clean the ghost vomit up.
Who Zero decides to just lock his door and try to ignore the noises in his hallway, watching a movie on his laptop. But whatever is in the apartment...
Now, if you're in your apartment and you got a ghost, a drunk-ass ghost, right, turning on the faucets, slamming shit in the hallway, are you just going to chill, Netflix and chill? No, you're going to be out of there, dude, right? And supposedly he's just going to watch Netflix. Come on, dude.
But when Who Zero ignores the knocking, the pounding on the wood becomes violent. And now it's a little later the same night. And the pounding on the door comes back yet again. Who Zero has had enough. He decides to charge.
It really is a drunk ghost.
Front whatever is there. It did not go well.
It's a drunk stepdaddy ghost. These are supposed to be the best now. These are pretty weak, dude.
What the? Whoa!
All hell breaks loose and Zero runs back to his bedroom to escape. But his recording cuts short just as his own bedroom door slams shut right in his face.
All right, I'll give him some props for the pan flying off. That was pretty good. I mean, unless he's got a buddy who's doing it with him, and the buddy's like running to the other room and pulling a fishing line and knocking the pan off. Not bad.
That the negative, dangerous area of the city.
By the way, I might try. I'm gonna do an experiment and try to fake a ghost video to see how easy it is to fake. So I'm gonna do some fake ghost videos where I'm going to feign surprise. Oh my gosh! Look, wow, this is so crazy. I hope I got it on camera. The silverware is just flying across the room. Look. Maybe it's the ghost of Uri Geller, right? We're back to silverware again. Ghosts are freaking in bad moods, dude. They're just ready to throw some shit. I mean, pots and pans flying. What's with ghosts and kitchenware, man? What the heck?
So it's not surprising that Frank is a little nervous to be there. He keeps his eyes open for any suspicious activity.
I hate these ghost hunter videos. They're so cheesy.
People.
I like the security camera videos. I don't like ghost hunter videos. Is this a cult? El Chupacabra!
Barely see with this. I'm gonna have to get a little bit closer.
That's just a bunch of teenage witches, dude. That's his friends, dude. Come on. That's his side chick.
Right now, I'm hiding behind a tomb area. The location where I was just at is further way up there. I'm not sure if you guys...
Why are you hiding, dude? You scared of like 3 teenage girls? Come on, dude. Weak sauce. Weak sauce.
Hola?
Hola. Hey, fool. There's like barely 3 ghosts over here in the cemetery. You guys got to get some more or something. Probably send some officers or something. But regardless, they're touching butts. What's with the Terminator music, bro? That's overkill. You got the T-800 music coming. Where's the ghost, dog?
Oh.
This dude's hyping himself up, getting scared that nothing's even happening.
I literally saw something peeking out at me right over here.
Maybe it was a critter, dude.
Someone can be seen staring at Frank from behind a mausoleum, but when he quickly hurries over to check, there's no one there. Horrified by what he just experienced, Franco no longer feels safe and decides to just call it a night, but received a very...
Yeah, I'm not buying Franco's. I mean, it was genuinely a creepy... He did good with the video, but I'm not buying it.
100% they're not human.
Now, if you've been wondering why I've been saying, hey fool, regardless, it was a joke we made on this video where the guy calls about the aliens in the backyard. Now, I dug into this pretty good because I was interested in the PSYOP angle, as you guys know, of all the alien jibber jabber. And this local news station has some kind of weird police and intelligence connection. And that's the news station in Vegas that broke this story. So there's something odd about the connections with the local news station. And then they never did give video, right? Supposedly the cop caught on his mounted cop cam, his gut cam, because cops have big guts, right? On his mounted cop gut cam, he caught what looks like a meteor, right? So it is genuinely odd that the cop does catch a meteor on his gut cam. But, I mean, there's nothing in this whole tale or story that we should actually believe or think that there are actual 8-foot or 9-foot aliens. It's just some teenage dude claiming to have seen them in the yard. Now, there could be weird phenomena. I'm not saying there's no weird phenomena. There are some videos that are generally bizarre. Not from this event. The video they put out from this event is laughable. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's like the blurriest bunch of nothing. So my vote on this whole Vegas thing is total psyop. Hey fool, there's like some Nephilim, but they look like aliens. They look like shiny eyes, bro. But they're totally not human. Well, now how does he know that? Like maybe it's a dude in a suit. Like why is he like they're not human? So he's 100% certain that there's some dudes running around in his yard, but they're not human. But they're barely not even human, regardless, bro.
Las Vegas resident Angel frantically calls 911
Hey.
after he and his brother hear
Hey, fool. I barely called 911.
something huge fall from the sky and land right in their backyard. The impact is so loud that it actually creates an audible shockwave. The two brothers then find
Yeah, it could definitely be a psyop, right? I mean, that's what I vote for.
nothing more than
And, these phenomena are always right next to some military Air Force base, right? If you guys haven't seen Mirage Man, everybody should watch it.
prank. But police officer Evelyn from the Las Vegas Police Department actually sees and captures something on her
On his cop gut cam.
body camera that makes the officers take the call much more seriously.
See, there's the meteor.
An unidentified object emitting green light falls from the sky above Las Vegas just before Angel and his family call 911. So, two Las Vegas patrol officers respond to the call.
Yeah, it's just a meteor, dude.
Oh, I don't know. I'm so nervous right now. I have butterflies, bro. I really thought a shooting star, and these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
And why would we not assume that it's the military with, like, advanced drone technology, right? Hey, fool. I barely just play with this drone. There's like an 8-foot guy in the backyard. He's totally sus. Plus, he's fake and he's gray. And also he's touching butts or whatever. So, like, probably should send some officers or something. But regardless. If you guys would, hit like and share. Also, support via Super Chats. I think the Vegas one's really dumb. Let's just get past this because if you saw, did you guys see the image of what the, because supposedly the teenager in this story did catch it on camera. And what he caught was nothing except one of the clips. There's two different clips. One of them is something out by their tractors. And if it's not a completely fake clip, it is interesting. I don't know what it is. It looks like a dude. It's either a dude or something. Right.
Story on YouTube and social media.
So here's the kid that did that called it in. And we'll take a look at if they show his what he caught on camera.
Along with a video that his brother took shortly before calling 911.
I think this is it.
Now Angel claims that they could see a tall skin.
I will say that these people don't seem to be acting. Now Angel himself, I mean, maybe he's interested in acting or something like that. But if you hear the reactions and if you look at the way these people are acting, again, if we keep in mind that most people are not actually good actors, if this is all staged, this is pretty good acting, right? But I don't get the impression that these random Hispanic people are like Shakespearean actors, you know what I mean?
The alien-like creature behind the forklift. And many viewers of the footage swear that they can see a creature hiding in the darkness in this video.
Let's slow it down, and I want you to look at the lower right in the fence. You see some motion there. And at first, I thought it was shadows, but as you look closer, you can actually see there are 3 points. There's sort of a triangle, and there's actually something you can see that's breaching the fence. It's like a hand. Look.
It's just another dude on the other side of the fence.
Forklift, and then
genuine, and they
show the forklift.
Just what happened that night? Is it aliens?
That's not. They're not even showing the best part. Like, the best part is the forklift part.
Video.
Let's slow it down.
But they skip past it. That's annoying. Let me see what you guys think.
Police in Las Vegas found themselves in the middle of a UFO mystery last month after an out-of-this-world 911 call.
They're like 9 foot, 10 foot tall. They look like aliens to us.
They look like it, but like fool. Hey, regardless, they're like 9 feet.
Something had crashed in their backyard. They also said they saw...
I want to see the footage of the forklift. That's the best part. Where is it at? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. By the way, here we go. Why is all the local, the local news stations love this alien crap, right? They push it nonstop. So here's the full event. No, don't play that.
Kylo, Chero. Kylo.
I don't think these people are acting. Okay, here we go. Well, now I don't see him. I thought you could see something in that video. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different video, but I thought you could see something at the forklift. But that looked like nothing, bro. Vegas alien forklift. We gotta go to World Star Hip Hop, boy. Yeah, I don't know what we're supposed to be seeing in that. Behind the forklift? That ain't nothing, dude. Is he up in the air? Anyway, what a bunch of garbage, right? Weak sauce. Come on, dude. That's the best y'all can do. What's in the backyard? That's a meteor.
Across the sky, now seen around the world. This, as our 8 News Now investigators confirm, Metro actually set up cameras at this home where a family called 911 claiming to see aliens in their backyard. And tonight, a fierce debate is underway about the...
A frightened family called 911 and told police they had 10-foot-tall alien beings in their backyard. Officers responded to the home minutes later, interviewed the witnesses, canvassed the area, and cautiously inspected the backyard. It seemed suspicious that he spent days staking out the house to see what, if anything, unfolded. What about those reports that Metro installed a special surveillance camera? his home in the southwestern part of the valley 2 weeks prior to the alleged alien encounter. The family declined to be interviewed by us, but members have spoken elsewhere and stick to their claims of seeing aliens in the backyard. Dozens of people on social media have analyzed and dissected the images with various claims of aliens spotted in the shadows. Police do not believe this was a hoax call, which could be a crime if done intentionally. In the fervid swamp known as UFO world, our coverage of the story was itself seen as a dastardly plot to distract attention away from a prominent whistleblower named David Grush, who
The fervid swamp. When do newscasters talk like this? The fervid swamp of UFO research, which is a bunch of tards. I mean, this Gorish stuff is obviously a bunch of, like, you know, total psyops. But anyway, I just thought that was funny, that whole phenomenon. That newscast there was classic. Now, there was one other thing I wanted to get to before we move to one last section here. And it was one of these. This one is crazy. So, do you guys remember the alien guy, researcher guy, Max? What was his name? The dude that oddly died in a bizarre way. Long-time listeners will remember that guy. He talked about black goo. Remember this guy? Max. What's his name? And it reminds me of this other story I want to find. Max Spears. Remember this guy? So then they say he overdosed on anxiety drugs, which, again, I don't know anything about this dude. But anytime a conspiracy theorist dies, everybody's like, oh, you know, you gotta question it, right? But the weird thing is that he did say that they would do something, right? Now, you know, guys know I don't believe in aliens. But I do admit this is weird. This is odd, right? This is Washington Post. So here's Max Spears saying, if anything happens to me, investigate it. And he was one of these guys on this UFO nonsense. But it is weird that what happens to a lot of the people who go deep into UFO stuff, they do end up dead. Now, that could be for many reasons. It could be because they are actually mentally unstable. I'm not saying that about this dude. I don't know anything about this dude. Never met him, never talked to him, never listened to him. But I heard of him because I remember he was on, you know, he was active in conspiracy circles and YouTube and Facebook, you know, groups and stuff. And he used to date this crazy new age chick who tried to refute me. It was just stupid stuff. But anyway, this guy met an untimely demise. And it's definitely possible that people in the conspiracy world do stumble onto real things and dangerous things, even if they have goofy worldviews, right? You know what I'm saying? So this does happen. And if the goofier their worldview, the worse it is for them because it looks even more ridiculous. So you can't believe him. He believed in aliens, right? But it is interesting that he had warned that he thought something was going to happen. Now, why do I bring him up? Because this other story of this guy, and again, this could be all bullhucky, but I did think it was interesting. And it did remind me of this dude. And it's the guy who, I think it's in Alaska. You guys know about this guy? And he ends up dead. The guy that supposedly sees this thing in Alaska and he goes to try to check it out. You know what I'm talking about? Dang it. I know it's on. Andrew Dawson. This is it. I think this is him. So this is worth looking at.
Andrew Dawson was just a regular TikToker that stumbled.
And actually, James LaFleur did have a good video on this guy. So let me see if I can find it. And what's this guy's name? Andrew Dawson. So everybody's all over this. Well, anyway, I can't find LaFleur's
So
videos.
everybody's...
I'm not watching that.
Don't get me wrong.
So maybe this could be a giant hoax, sure. But supposedly this guy is dead now, right? CIA cover up. Now, I will say this, that if Nephilim and all that, if there are evidence of Nephilim, I could believe that it would be covered up. Because it would run counter to the entire narrative of Darwinism, and it would suggest that the Bible is accurate. So I could conceivably think that the Nephilim cover-up is true. I don't want these garbage videos. LaFleur had actually a good video on this, but I can't find it. So let's watch this. Maybe this will work.
This is the strange story of Andrew Dawson under the TikTok handle Andy Cat, who claimed on his TikTok channel to have filmed a giant on top of a mountain in the Jasper National Park in Alberta, Canada, and then documented a strange series of events trying to refilm the entity in the following months, leading up to some tragic events. For something.
So he first films this thing that's appeared on the top of this, mountain range or whatever, right? And he sounds genuine, doesn't seem fake. And then he decides the next day that he's going to drive up there because there's a road. And to me, that it all looks like he really did this.
To be that large from that far of a distance, even with the zoomed in camera, would definitely be larger than just your average person. And the story really just gets stranger from here. At this point, Andrew starts to attempt to go back to the mountain.
Now, it's just a tower. It could be a tower, sure, but the problem is that he goes up there and they tell him that you can't drive any further, right? So it's like shut off. Well, why would it be shut off just for a tower? He said, well, maybe it's a military tower. Okay, so maybe there's a military installment up there and they don't want him up there, but it gets crazier.
Or get closer to that spot to film or find whatever that being was that he recorded. This was 3 days after the first video was posted.
We are on our way.
Andrew Dawson was
My
just
bad.
a regular
Oops.
TikToker that stumbled across something.
What the heck? What did I do?
TikToker that stumbled across something strange up in the mountains. It wasn't until he posted what looked like a giant that his channel blew up and started to get millions of views. Before the unexpected happened, he made a series of videos on his quest to find out what this mysterious creature was.
And it's not even there anymore, too.
So, here's the thing, right? So, it's not just a tower. If it was a tower, it leaves. It's no longer there. And so, after he goes up there to inspect it, and they told him that he can't go up there, then he claims that there's people in black vehicles, like, following him, right? And everybody thought, oh, you're just making all this shit up. But there really were. He does show images of black SUVs and stuff parked outside of his apartment or whatever. And the guy does genuinely sound scared, right?
Got stopped by.
So you're thinking, oh, well, it's not, so what? This is all stupid. No, but here's the thing, like, he then makes a video saying that it was all fake after he said all this conspiracy stuff. And then he ends up dead. That's the crazy part. Now, okay, maybe he was suicidal. I don't know his mental state, right? But even if it's not actual Nephilim or giants, maybe he just stumbled on something that he wasn't supposed to stumble onto. And then they told him, to stop, and it freaked him out. And so he makes all these videos and then backs off his story, but then doesn't. And then now he's dead.
Like some CIA agent. So they're extracting something out of here. That's the same vehicle. Hey! You might not see me post ever again. My videos weren't fake.
So then he's claiming the videos weren't fake, right? He's claiming that there's military
One
people.
more video after this, that shows that there's a potential military camp being set up. Sadly, this is his last, because he seems to disappear. But then his obituary is found, which says that he died on July 1st, 2022. Andrew Dawson.
So, there you go. Odd story, very reminiscent of the Max Spears story.
It wasn't until...
So, you know, who knows? No answer to it. I'm not saying he filmed Nephilim. He's just filming odd things going on, right, on the top of this mountain in Alaska. And very bizarre. So there's like a zillion TikTokers already talking about this dude. But anyway, what do you guys think? What do you think is going on up in the Alaskan mountains there, that they would tell this dude to shut up, and then this dude would end up dead? It says participating in this activity could get you and others hurt. What, investigating Nephilim on Alaskan mountains?
There's a TikToker that disappeared after he posted video proof of the CIA covering up giants in the mountains. His name is Andrew Dawson, and if he didn't document everything he saw, no one would believe him. His videos are still available for everyone to see, so we're going to break down everything that happened before they get deleted.
Okay, here's the full
So
one.
Andrew started as a pretty normal TikToker, posting vlogs about his daily life, work, his friends, his girlfriend, his dog, nothing out of the ordinary. But then in April 2022, his posts started getting weird. For over a year, he had zero history of posting anything conspiracy related, when all of a sudden he drops a video of what looks like a massive person on top of Whistler Peak Mountain in Alberta, Canada.
What is it? It's a person, dude. No, seriously, pull over, pull over.
Now, in all honesty,
it doesn't. I'm not sure that that's. Yeah, I don't think that's a person, but it looks like, you know, something weird up there. But I don't get the impression that he sounds like he's faking it, right? He doesn't sound like an actor when he's saying this stuff.
This giant is standing completely still and can possibly even be some sort of structure. But it wasn't there before, and whatever it is, it's enormous given how far away that mountain is. He goes back the next day, and it's gone. He speaks to a few locals in the area, and a few of them confirm the myth of a giant that has been spotted living in those mountains.
And it's not even there anymore, too. That's where it was yesterday. I spoke to some locals and it comes and goes apparently.
He then tries driving right up to the base of the area where he saw the creature, but is stopped by some agent that tells him to turn around even though it's a national park.
I just got stopped by like some CIA agent. He told me to turn around, said I'm trespassing. I said it's a...
Now, I don't know why he thinks it's a CIA agent at a national park, although that is plausible and possible. There are bizarre events at national parks, and there are also intelligence and odd connections to park rangers and national parks, which probably most people don't know about. And also, I think I would like to do some of these missing people stories too, because I don't know what's going on with the missing 411, missing at national parks stuff either. I've done a lot of research on that. I've actually read quite a bit on it, just as a side hobby. And there are all kinds of areas in the U.S. and probably all over the world, but particularly I was reading about U.S. places. It's not just the national parks. There's a whole triangle in Alaska, which famously has had outrageous numbers of people go missing. Now, I understand. I know all your objections. I've read all about it, right? It's Alaska. People flee to Alaska to start over and to hide from crimes. I know all this. Oh, drunks go there. They're addicts. I know. But the outrageous number of people, it's crazy. It's like, I found a mainstream article that was like 30 pages, like this super deep dive I read probably 10 years ago. Maybe it still pulls up. Let me see. It's the Alaskan Triangle, I think it's called. And the disappearing people there. Kodiak Disappearing Planes. What is that? That's a TV show. But even this mainstream article is like, we don't know exactly how to explain all this. This is a TV show covering it. That's not what I'm looking for. People disappear in the Alaska. Yeah, here it is. More people disappear in the Alaskan Triangle than anywhere else. This is not the article that I read, but Even these normie science sites are doing it, right? Yeah, here it is. Here's an example of what I'm talking about. This isn't the article I read, but why have 20,000 people vanished in this one area? I mean, 20,000 people, that's a lot of people. Okay. I mean, I understand, okay, a few hundred people, but this triangle here is weird. And there's a whole, history of conspiracy, CIA stuff to Alaska, HARP. We know all this stuff, right? But don't you think this is odd? I mean, why would it be that many people? It doesn't seem plausible to me that wandering off drunk, wandering off. Here it is, The Atlantic. This is that article I read. It's a gigantic article. Yeah, I read this long time ago. 2016, this is it. So if you're interested in this topic from like a mainstream perspective, that even normies are like, what the heck? You can read this Atlantic article. It's pretty good. Oh, you're saying the Into the Wild guy died in that triangle? That makes sense. So it doesn't seem plausible to me that many people are just wandering. Yeah, it is half the state, but I mean, how many people can just wander off, right? I mean, it's not that many. And the other thing is that there's patterns. So if you haven't looked into this, the reason that the missing 411 stuff is unique is that there's patterns to the phenomena when the people go missing. So it's not just people wander off in the woods and get lost, right? Because that happens all the time. But the weird part is that a lot of times it's even people that are very seasoned at outdoor stuff. It's even park rangers. And so people are theorizing that, well, why is it happening in national parks? Well, national parks seem to have a connection because they're owned by the government, you see. So this is different. It's not just people disappearing and being murdered on private property. This is like a significant number of disappearances in the parks. Yes, there's a lot of idiots that could wander off and, lose their bearings on a trail. They're drunk, they're partying. Sure, I understand all that. But the thing is that in a lot of these cases, that's not the profile. It's seasoned people. It's people that seem to get into the woods and they just mysteriously just leave the trail for no reason. And this has happened over and over and over again to the extreme to where it's like, I'm wondering, here's just a theory I came up with. Yeah, I've watched these videos about supposedly stairs in the middle of nowhere. Could be, who knows. I've seen a few videos that show stairs way out in the middle of nowhere. So if you guys know about David Paulides, yeah, but the missing 411 stuff. Now there's all these other channels that do like compilations of tons of other missing people stuff. So this is again, all that stuff's like side hobbies I've been researching. But here's a theory. What do you think about this? Nobody else has said this. This is just what I'm thinking. So one of the things that has happened. So you're saying people have debunked him. What's the debunk of Paulides? So let me know in the chat there. Link me one of the debunks. The supernatural Magnum PI. That's funny. One of the things that seems to happen is that people get at a certain point in the trail or when they're walking, and then they mysteriously like go off, right? And nobody can figure out why they would leave the trail and get this confused. Is it possible that maybe out in the deep woods there is some kind of mushroom or spore that can be breathed that causes confusion? I'm being serious. Like, we all know that, there's hallucinogenic mushrooms and whatnot. Are there perhaps spores or plants or pollens that can conceivably cause confusion? And this then leads the people to have maybe a mild trip, a mild hallucinogenic event, and then they wander off. That's just one theory I have, because a lot of these people, Yeah, why would you just automatically have psychosis out in the middle of the woods? That's what I'm saying. Somebody in the chat was saying he's been debunked, and I'm just saying send me a link for who's debunked him. We got some ball lightning out there right now. Yeah, there is a X-Files. Remember that X-Files episode where they from breathing spores in the air, and then they're getting really confused and wandering off. That's a theory. That's one event that nobody's talked about. But I'm not a super woodsy person. I mean, I grew up in the woods. Well, there went the... Did the electricity go out? I mean, the internet? I think the internet died. Did the internet die? Or can y'all still see me? I can't tell. We had a mega ball lightning. That lightning out there got some balls on it. Because it took out the internet. What a perfect event for today. I can't tell. It says no data, but then you guys are saying you can hear me. I can't tell. Did it go out? I can't even tell. It says no data. Let's see. That'll make that, dude, that makes for a perfect cryptid stream, doesn't it? Are we back now? I think we're back. That's a perfect cryptid stream event. Look at that, bro. Pop, pop. Ball lightning attacks outside as I'm doing my weird phenomena video. That's pretty crazy. Ooh, ooh. Anyway, we're having fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's do some super chats here. Am I still here with you? Looks like it. That was crazy. Super chat. Support the show with the super chat function. There's a lot more of these. There's tons of these. You guys enjoy this today? Was it fun? Do you want to do more of these? We did glitches in the Matrix. We did missing persons, and we're back. Excellent. How long have we been going? 2.5 hours. All right. Anyway, so a lot of people going missing. Don't know what it is. Andrew, what's his name? Andrew Dawson story is pretty weird. Wild. We got a super chat from Quentin. He says, Bizarre Bub's videos are too spoopy. Watch it if you dare. Like I said, maybe we'll do some of Bizarre Bub, because he's actually the best at finding the ghost videos, I've decided. What do y'all think's going on with the Bermuda Triangle? That's a forgotten conspiracy stuff, right? Nobody's talking about the Bermuda Triangle forever, man. That's like 1990s classic conspiracy stuff. But what is it? I have no idea, no clue. I feel like a veteran, seasoned conspiracy man. And then when you ask me, okay, so what's the Bermuda Triangle? Dude, I don't know shit about it, man. I don't know anything about the Bermuda Triangle. That's the boomer era of conspiracies, right? Boomers love aliens, JFK, and Bermuda Triangle shit. Because boomers was into seafaring, you know, getting out on the high seas, sailing. Sailing takes me away to where I've always heard be. Christopher Cross in the house. Thank you. Yeah, I've got Bizarre Bub. Let's see. I think this was a pretty good Bizarre Bub collection here for ghosts. We got a super chat from Tim. That was his. He said, "How's your Hank Hill impression?" Thank you. And Tim says, "Nice shirt." Exactly. Mr. Anderson said, I missed his super chat last time. I've not read the book, Giza Death Star. I heard about this theory that it was a weapon. I didn't know that Pharrell wrote this book. I agree. It sounds pretty out there. Yes, I do not believe that the pyramids are weapons. But it sounds fun. What's with this? What is this nonsense? Brahma Lane, $5. Don't read this. I thought that so-and-so was a shill. I don't think so. DC Wood, $3. What anime do you plan to utilize? Is that a joke question or a serious question? I recommend doing Evangelion, Genesis, whatever. Genesis, Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yes, I know. Mid-90s. So I think we should do... Somebody said do Full Metal Alchemist. So I think we should do Neon Genesis, Full Metal Alchemist, and probably Ghost in the Shell, the original. Vic, $20. What the hell is with the cattle mutilations? Exactly. So there's a lot of things we gotta... If we keep doing this kind of stuff, the lightning just knocked out the internet, dude. That's why it's so choppy now. Sorry. Which is weird in the middle of a cryptid spooky stream, right? I'm just going to give you the Bizarre Bub video since it looks like the internet's going to be all crappy. It's not worth playing. And I'll save it for next time. You guys can watch that video there. Your question was, so what's going... my suspicion is, I know that at least in some of the cases with the cattle mutilation, it is PsyOps and Black Ops. And I say that because if you go watch Mirage Men, there's a section of some of these PsyOps officers talking about doing this. So is it demonic forces? Don't think so. Satanic cults? There could be some cults that engage in mutilating cattle for the organs, because organs do play a key role in different hermetic, esoteric, and occult traditions. So that's very possible. And also, you said the cutting, the incision, and the bloodlessness makes it mysterious. Yeah, that could be, military technology. Could be drones that have the ability to use lasers, something like that. Kristen, $5. I love these fun streams. This is cool. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. I love it as well. I love to branch out, talk about other stuff. You know what I mean? Can't talk about, Klaus Schwab all day. The New World Order. We're going to change the DNA, a much angrier world. The COVID-19 crisis. The COVID-19 crisis. By the way, I'm thinking about putting together a tight 10 stand-up routine. What do you guys think? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to squish all the best impressions into a tight 10. What do you think? Would that be a good stand-up routine? What do you guys think? Tell me in the chat whether you think it'd be a good stand-up routine. What's your opinion on that? Agent Boa, $1. Long time no see. Have you seen Vanilla Sky? Well, how do I know that it's long time no see? You mean a long time since you've seen me? Because I don't know that I've ever seen you. And yes, we did Vanilla Sky. When did we do Vanilla Sky? It was me and Jamie. And we did it right here under, simulated VR worlds. That was our topic. So we did Vanilla Sky, Videodrome, Lawnmower Man with the Slow Boy, and Existence with Jude Law. I was Jude Law. You like my Jude Law? There is that Vanilla Sky Tom Coombe analysis that we did. Tinfoil Hat Girl, $10. A lot of the Roman Catholic exorcists have been grifting lately. I've been wondering about this. I'm not sure what to think about the trad cat exorcism world. Jamie and I want to do an analysis of exorcism movies. So we got to do Antichrist movies and we got to do exorcism movies. Obviously I don't trust anything from the trad cats in the Roman Catholic world. But you say that a lot of the trad cat exorcists are going around on podcasts. Patrick Bet David. Do you think this is a push towards a perennial world religion? I mean, they could tie that, the trad cat exorcism phenomena into something in terms of the world religion. I don't trust a lot of the trad cat so-called exorcists. But I'm not necessarily going to say that they're all fake. I mean, it's possible. I mean, signs and wonders don't necessarily prove the religion. Signs and wonders will accompany true religion, in my view. But just because they're signs and wonders could be anything. Could be deception, could be demonic, who knows? Or what they're up to. But one reason I think that exorcists from the Roman Catholic world are all over the podcast because they get a lot of views. Travis, $30. I was watching the stream at the start. I was thinking about my deceased fiance, and I was crying. And when my TV shut itself off, Was that her? I just reclaimed my spot as your top tipper. Yeah, I think today you won the top tips. I do think that the deceased are with us. They do interact with us, and that's an orthodox idea. I don't think we should like be trying to contact them with Ouija boards and spaghetti noodles and shit, but I do think that the dead are among us, and hence the communion of the saints, right? But I don't know if I would say that there was an industrial detergent foam cloud, and it looked and it landed like what you're seeing there. I understand that, yeah, it could be suds, but if you notice, there was lights flickering, like some sort of electrical phenomena in whatever that cloud was. So that's why I'm saying that. My first thought was it's some kind of detergent foam chemical reaction, but then it does look like there's an electrical phenomena there. Lamont Stigler, $5. We must penetrate the parallax with the private jets in the air. Thank you. Much appreciated. Yeah, I think Klaus would say we should penetrate the parallax. Cy Tolliver, $8. Have you ever read the Crispin Glover essay on Spielberg? I have read the Crispin Glover essay on Spielberg. It is heckin' strange. It's pretty wild. Glitchy Rhythm, $3. A stream about saints that have clairvoyance, and then the biblical prophecies that are fulfilled, and the bleeding, weeping icon phenomena. Yeah, the reason I don't stream about a lot of that stuff is that I don't know what can and can't be proven. So I'm not saying that there aren't miracles, but I'm saying like anybody that claims these things, it's just not much. It's not worth much more than a claim, which doesn't mean that it can't happen, but it just means that like if some dude claims, oh my icon was smelled good the other day, but it doesn't anymore. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true, but it just like what am I supposed to do with that? Coastal Recon, $5. The 411 missing people phenomena could be a case of unintentional natural social engineering. What do you mean by that? What is unintentional natural social engineering? Do you mean like they were programmed to depopulate? I don't understand what that means. All the elements were right for their brain to be tricked into confusion. Again, I don't look. Why would their brain be tricked into confusion when they get on the trail? It is likely to be tricked into hunger when it sees McDonald's. I just don't understand how that explains this phenomenon happening when the people are out camping or even hunting, right? So if you watch the 411, the second part, the first one deals with the really odd cases, like 5 or 6 odd cases of kids and stuff. It's not just a kid. I mean, obviously a kid can be snatched by a wolf or something, right? But the second one is hunters, like seasoned lifelong hunters that mysteriously just go missing. So I don't see how their brains would be tricked into something. Adonai, $20. Thank you so much. Arcane, $3. Watch the Facebook Live Dogman video. That sounds funny. We just found Dogman the other day. This was cracking me up about LBL. I remember telling you about LBL, right? Which is not too far from me. And some dude, you got to see this to believe it. This is like pure comedy, dude. It's 2 chunky redneck dudes. Oh, where's it at? And it has like 500,000 views. I can't. And it's like these fat dudes talking about the Institute for Bigfoot Studies or some bullshit like that, which is hilarious that they named it that. This is it. You gotta see. You gotta see this. By the way, this, if you wonder what it's like in Tennessee, this is like everybody in Tennessee right here. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Now, the funniest part about this stupid video is that how many times they emphasize that they're not lying. And it's all this guy who got attacked by the beast of LBL. And LBL is just a nature preserve. It spans Tennessee and Kentucky. I mean, it's big. It's not gigantic, but it's big. You could get lost and die in there for sure. And I will say this. I mean, I think all this stuff's ridiculous. But I will say that I have multiple family members who are hunting and fishing guides who have spent their lives around here and have spent many years and parts of their lives in LBL. Particularly my uncle was I actually have two uncles, both of whom were hunting guides. One of them was a really super skilled one. Anyway, that side of my family doesn't have any interest in any of this stuff. They would think this is all ridiculous. And they will admit that they have seen bizarre things in LBL. So I'm open to the possibility that there are bizarre things in LBL. They may not be paranormal. One of them was that I have family members who were on I think they were doing a fishing / hunting. They were doing something and they spent a few nights camping in Land Between the Lakes. Okay. And again, this is really bizarre because they don't believe in like paranormal stuff really. And they said that this is just so weird. They said that here's two possibilities. They're out in the middle of nowhere in LBL. And they saw on one of the rivers that goes through it, an actual Indian, like in old Indian gear, paddling. That's crazy. Because there aren't Indians that I know of in LBL unless, get this, because it is a fairly large nature preserve, maybe there are like feral people. There's another theory about the phenomena of the Appalachian stuff. You guys have heard about that. The haints, boo-hags, boo-daddies, and boogers. These are the actual Appalachian terms for the weird phenomena. And some people think that there's actual like feral hill people. I suppose that's possible, but I don't know how you would survive if you're a feral hill person, like running around naked like a, wild man. I mean, maybe you're not so feral that you can't live in a cave or something. I don't know, but I do think there's weird stuff out in the middle of nowhere in the woods. I do think that's weird, but you got to hear this. This is funny. Listen to this.
Hello, I'm Elijah Henderson from Cryptid Studies Institute.
And I'm Johnny Henderson.
So the Cryptid Studies Institute is these two dudes on the back porch. I love this. Right? Only in Tennessee could the Cryptid Studies Institute be two fat rednecks on a porch. But they call it the Cryptid Studies Institute.
From Cryptid Studies Institute.
Actually, I like that they put institute because it gives it credibility, dude. And like, you questioning me, I'm from the freaking Institute. We're the ones that gives the PhDs to Cryptid Studies, bro.
Guys, tonight we come to you with a very special video, or actually it's more of an audio interview that we're conducting. Now, about a year ago, we done
anyway, I just couldn't resist laughing about the Cryptid Studies Institute. And by the way, this is everybody in Tennessee right here. So what's it like in Tennessee? Should I move to Tennessee? Well, decide if you can put up with your friends from the Cryptid Institute or not. If you like these guys, you're going to have a lot of fun in Tennessee. I'm talking about outside of Nashville. If you live in the city, it's just like any other metropolitan shit city. But now, if you don't want to be in garbage city, you're going to be out in the country, and you're going to be with the Cryptid Boys.
A video called The Bloodthirsty Beast of LBL.
So what do you want? You tell me. Anyway, this video is funny because they just interview some dude who claims that his whole family was killed by the dog man in LBL. And the funniest part of it is just like the first 5 minutes is him swearing that he's not lying. And if you listen to any of the, CIA, FBI people talking about detecting when people are lying, the first thing they say is, if you think about it, people in normal situations, even if it's a crazy situation, they don't constantly stress that they're having to tell you the truth and that they never lie. right? So that's a dead giveaway in interrogations, right? Even cops know this stuff, right? If somebody's like, look, we all know I'm a truth teller, and because I'm 100% a truth teller, I would not lie to you guys ever, and because, like, my dad taught me not to lie, and, like, my mom would be really mad, so I would never, ever lie, 100%, like, normal conversation, and even if it's a crazy event, you know, like, you don't, like, your house gets broken into, right? You're not sitting there convincing the cops for the first 5 minutes that you're telling the truth, right? That's a number one giveaway that it's bullshit. So anyway, this is just comedic stuff here. But if you want a good laugh, go check out the Beast of LBL at my Tennessee boys over here at the Cryptid Institute. Shout out to my Tennessee boys at the Cryptid. Anyway, they interview this guy, and it's just like, I promise you I'm telling the truth.
Loftier aim than to try to put to rest certain rumors about this story and to let people understand that this was a real family and real...
I have no loftier aim but to tell the truth to you, my beloved audience people. Here at the Cryptid Studies Institute, we love the truth, and we would 100% never lie to you ever. Not at all. Not even 0.01% possibility chance, because we love you. Oh, I forgot. The guy was saying I need to... when you send me a super chat, I can't get the link. You got to watch Facebook Live Dogman. Okay, you did send me the link. All right, but I'm going to have to pull up Streamlabs to get the link. So hold on. I can't pull it up from OBS. So let me go into Streamlabs. We got to see the Dogman. This sounds funny. Is it funnier than mine, though? Mine was pretty funny. Tip history. Let's see. I have nothing but truth to tell you, my dear friends. Here we go. So you said I gotta watch. What'd you call it? Facebook. Facebook Live Dogman. Dude, they're having cryptid conventions in Tennessee about all this stuff, literally. And I'm like, what is going on? Oh, this dog man right here? Oh, hell. He done seen dog man and shit. What happened? What had happened? By the way, the sound is bad on the original video. It's not me. Hey, dog, why you smoking, dog? You look like you 13 out here smoking, bro. He's seen Dog Man. Well, let's see. Is it Dog Man? He's live streaming on Facebook. Shit. What? Oh, shit. You seen Dog Man right there? Damn, bro. Slow it down for me. What the heck? Well, there was Dogman. Thank you for that. Shout out to Arcane for those super chats. I'm convinced now. Cannot West, $5. What do you think about the feet that washed up in British Columbia in the Elisa Lam case? Did you watch the documentary that Netflix did? And it was Ron Howard did the documentary on Elisa Lam. I watched the whole thing, like all 5 installments of it. So I think that the explanation was pretty convincing in the documentary that it was a girl who committed suicide, but they never did explain the lid on the thing, right? So it would seem that that's the most likely explanation in my view, except for the documentary admitting that they couldn't explain the lid on the water thingamajig that she got in. Thank you for that. Arcane sends another $5. It says, oh, you got to watch this guy with Dogman. Coastal Recon, $10. This is akin to the way that market researchers manipulate consumer behavior into purchasing products. In a similar way, the phenomenon that involves hikers could be likened to an inadvertent occurrence where natural stimuli inadvertently influence the behavior. So, but what's the inadvertent behavior? What's the phenomenon that influences them to just leave the trail? I'm not understanding the source for. You said it was social engineering. I just don't understand. Ossafraid, but thank you for the super chat. Ossafraid, $1. Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned Missing 411. If you read the books, the cases get stronger and stronger. I have not read the books. Have you read about St. Anthony and the Goat Man and so forth? Yeah, I think that the Bible has all kinds of references to various entities, right? There's goat devils, there's pythonic spirits, there's Nephilim. There's all kinds of stuff in the Bible that could relate to these phenomena for sure. The story seems to support the idea of these kinds of beings that can teleport. Could be. Wood Grain Gripping, $1. Mike Jones. This is a great stream. Finish this stream. You have a good connection now. Well, we're going to do Bizarre Bub, but we've already gone for almost 3 hours, dude. So if you guys would support the show, we'll do the Bizarre Bub and more Slap Team. We didn't even get to Slap Team. How you doing? This is Kalen from Slap Team. We're going to be taking a look at some videos with some ghostly images and ghastly scenes pop up.
See some of the creepiest videos found on the internet. Let's check them out.
These are some of the creepiest voices on the internet. Let's check it out. Slap Team. Wood Grain Gripping, thank you so much. Guys, if you would hit like and share, we will be back soon. Got some surprises coming up. New studio. Wait till you see a new studio. You're going to be surprised. What about the frogmen? Yeah, exactly. What about the gay frogmen? Right? That Alex Jones talks about. We got frogmen. We got dogmen. Frogmen. Gay frogmen. Unbelievable.